Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to our online learnings. So in this session, we are going to study based on our class schedule. Can you tell me what the book that we are going to study for this session? Alright, in this session, we are going to study Writing Bright 3. So here is the book that we are going to study for the writing lessons. Everyone, in the writing lesson, we are studying some grammar structure, for example, like the tenses, like the form. Alright, so all those lessons will help you to write a better sentence. In this video, we are going to look at some grammar points that most people find confusing. Even as I was a student, I was very confused with those tenses, as I told you in the previous video. So today we are going to compare three tenses together in order to make sure that there is no confusion at all in terms of doing exercise. Imagine everyone, if you are asked to do some exercise that require you to choose between past simple, present perfect, and present perfect continuous, three in one exercise. You might find a little bit difficult because those three tenses are a little bit similar. But those problem is over now, because in this video I am going to distinguish all of those three tenses to help you decide what tense to use and when to use each tense. Now everyone, are you ready? Okay, you might ask, teacher, in this video we are studying three tenses, but the lesson is about present perfect. Why we need to study three tenses? Okay, because three tenses here are a little bit similar, as I told you, so we need to compare all of them in order to see the difference. So now let's start, everyone. So first, look at the first one, which is present simple. And the easiest tense here is present simple, because present simple is used to talk about action that is happen. I'm sorry here, happen supposed to be ed because it happened in the past, right? So happen and fully ended in the past. So those action just something that happened in the past and there is nothing to do at all with the present. For example, let's say yesterday I went shopping. So those activities happened in the past and it fully ended yesterday, right? There's nothing to do with today. The second one is present perfect simple. So he is the main focus of our lesson, and this one is a little bit confusing with present perfect continuous. Now let's look at this one. So present perfect simple, we used to focus on action. Okay, as I told you yesterday from the previous video, focus on action. They don't care about how long, but they care about how many things you have done. Okay, so they focus on action. And the second one, when we want to talk about the action that have just finished, you need to use present perfect simple. You can see some result or some effects in the present, but it just finished. The third one. So the third one, we use present perfect simple in order to talk about experience. So something that happened in the past and it doesn't need, you don't need to give specific time. You just said about your experience. So we need to use present perfect simple. For example, let's say I have been to Kampot province. So this is the experience. We don't care when, but we focus on the action, which is the experience in the past. Next, and it is the last one, for action that happen at specific time and not over at the moment of speaking. It means that time is not over yet. Okay, so you will see clearly in the next activity, but just focus on this one. Now let's move on to the present perfect progressive. And if you open some grammar book, they call it present perfect continuous. It is the same, right? So for present perfect progressive or present perfect continuous, we used to focus on durations. And the other one is action that is still going on. It's still happening. It happened in the past it continue up until the present, but you can see they are still doing those activity. Last but not least, we use present perfect progressive in order to express our anger, which means you feel angry or annoyance. So now you know the point of each tenses. The next activity, I will give you 8 sentences. Each sentences represent one usage here. So everyone, are you ready? Because of the whiteboard and the lesson here, I cannot write all the 8 sentences on the whiteboard for all of you. So I decided to put those 8 sentences over here so that you can read those sentences with me. So when you read each sentences, decide what type of action, what type of use that it fit with. For example, let's say I went to shopping yesterday. So it is past simple. It talk about action that happened and fully ended in the past. Now let's start together. So here my 8 questions, and don't worry, I will put those 8 questions on the screen here so that you can read and decide with me all together. So let's start with the first question here. So the first sentence, you have been drinking beer again. You have been drinking beer again. So this phrase is written in present perfect progressive. So it focuses on duration? No. It focuses on action is still going on? No. But it expresses anger and annoying because someone drinking beer every day again and again. So the first sentence here is express anger and annoyance. Let's move on to sentence number 2. Sentence number 2, you moved to England last year. So you moved to England last year. So look at the structure, everyone. Is it present perfect simple? No, it is past simple. So it used to talk about action that happened and fully ended in the past, which is last year. Good. Let's move on to sentence number 3. We have been watching this TV show for 2 hours now. So we have been watching this TV show for 2 hours now. The tense here is present perfect progressive. So the use here is action that happened in the past and is still going on until the present time. So here is action is still going on. Let's move on to number 4. Our students have done all their work. Our students have done all their work. So this one, what is the use of this one? Okay, so it is written in present perfect simple. So let's look at present perfect simple. Okay, so here we used to focus on action. This sentence is used to talk about the action that students have done all their works. Okay, let's move on to number 5. She has written 10 fiction books in 2020 or in 2020. Here again, they use this sentence in present perfect simple. And this year, everyone, what year is this year? Is it 2021 or 2020? Sure, it's still 2020 and it is still in this year. So she has written 10 fiction books, which is finished already, but in 2020, and now it is in 2020, which means the time is not over yet. That is why we use this in present perfect simple, because the usage here is action that happened at specific time and not over at the moment of speaking yet. She might still continue her writing. She might finish her she might write 11 book or 12 book, who knows, because it is still 2020. Okay, let's move on to number 6. We have never been to Canada before. We have never been to Canada before. This one again, they are written in present perfect simple, which is about experience. Very good. They talk about experience. Now let's move on to number 7. She has been writing books for 20 years. So she has been writing books for 20 years. So it focuses on duration. For 20 years, it's too long. Last but not least, we have number 8. They have just won $1 million from that company. Again, this is in present perfect simple, and they use the word just. They have just won $1 million from that company. They talk about action that have just finished. Okay, so we can see the result. They become rich. Okay, everyone. So this is the end of our video session. And if you have some question, feel free to ask your teacher in our online group study. Because you are going to do a lot of work, which is we have classwork, we have homework for you to do. To do those exercises, you need to understand the concept of the lesson. If you cannot catch up with any point, you cannot do those exercises. So make sure before the class ends, you need to understand all the lesson. To understand all the lesson, you need to ask your teacher to explain you each specific point. Now everyone, it comes to the end of our video session, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Goodbye everyone.